Shalom lekulam, beruchim habayim lashior harishon. Welcome to the first lesson. Today's lesson is on what is his true name. Ma Hashem shel Elohim.
כן, השם של אלוהים זה משהו שמאוד חשוב לנו. אז מה השם של אלוהים? Let's get some understanding about the name of Yah because it's so important, as we said before. There's so much misinformation floating around on the internet about his name. And in order to get an understanding of why his name is his name, we need to first do a little bit of basic fundamental research about Hebrew grammar. So let's get started.
Moving forward, we will be removing our camera from off the screen so that you can see the presentation a bit more clearly. So let's get started first off with Hebrew Grammar 101. In order to understand any language, as well as the name of Yah, we must have some fundamental knowledge on Hebrew Grammar 101. The letters that we will be going over today are He, Vav, and Yod. The reason why we are speaking on the letters He, Vav, and Yod is because these letters are found in the Tetragrammaton. So our first letter is He. He makes the sound H, like the English word horse. He generally functions as the vowel sound A or E when it comes at the end of the word. Once again, A or E. So you'll hear an A sound, for example, the word kita, which means class, kita, and it makes an E sound at the end of the word. When it makes the E sound at the end of the word, you will hear the sound like Morah, Morah, meaning teacher. Lastly, when He comes at the end of the word and it's pronounced and it makes that ah sound, it's most likely going to be a feminine word. So once again, to wrap it up, when He comes at the end of the word, it's going to make an ah or an eh sound. And when it makes an ah sound, it's most likely going to be a feminine word. Next up, we have wow and vav. Vav is the modern Hebrew pronunciation. Vav is also a consonant vowel. So how do we know when vav or wow is a vowel or a consonant? So we know that wow or vav is a v or w sound. And it is a vowel when it makes the sound o or u. Lastly, today's letter is called Yod. Yod. Yod is also a consonant vowel. It is a consonant when it makes the sound y, such as the word yad, which means hand. And it's a vowel when it makes the sound I, like ani. So please keep in mind these rules of these three Hebrew letters as we get to the end of the lesson. It will make more sense.
So Hebrew words are generally accented at the last syllable or the end of the word. למשל, יש בעברית את השם משה. באנגלית, הרבה אנשים אומרים משה, אבל זה לא נכון. It's not Moshe. So in English, a lot of people say Moshe, but it's Moshe. בעברית זה Moshe. So numbers 2 and 3 actually go together. Vowels cannot stand alone, and you must have both a vowel and a consonant to complete a full syllable. So we're going to talk about the Nikot next, which is the voweling system that the Masoretes or the Jewish scribes created to help preserve the language between the 5th and 10th century. The first vowel sound that we have is ah, like in the English word autumn. So I'm going to mention the names of these symbols, but don't worry too much about memorizing the names of them. It's not important. Just remember to associate the sound with the symbol, or the symbol with the sound that it makes. So first we have komet, which is a long ah, and we have some examples of some words in Hebrew. So the first example is mif'al. Mif'al is factory. Mif'al, this is a kametz, a long a, and we have for patah, the short a, we have shema, which many of you are familiar with. All right, so the next vowel sound is the vowel sound eh, as in the English word egg. So here we have the segol, which is the vowel sign for the short vowel eh. It is like an upside down triangle with 3 dots. And we have an example in Hebrew of the word that you are all familiar with, melech, melech, which is king. The next vowel we have is the sound o, as in the English word gold. So we have two of these symbols that are the same. One is a holem vav, the other one is just holem. As you can see, the holem vav actually has a vav with it. Two examples in Hebrew is kodesh. You are familiar with this word. It means set apart or holy. And that's shorthanded, and the holem vav is the word written out completely with the vav. This is a little more common, but sometimes you might see this, but just know that it's the same thing. So if you see the holem over any consonant, know that the next vowel is the O. The next vowel sound we have is oo, like in the English word glue. We have the first example of a short oo, which is kibbutz, and the second one is shurik, which is long. We have the Hebrew name Uzi, Uzi to represent the short U, and the long Shurik is Rut. This is also another name, like Rut or Ruti. All right, so why is pronunciation so important? Pronunciation is so important because when you are speaking Hebrew, one vowel sound spoken off, and when you are writing, one vowel sound that is written or one vowel sign that is written incorrectly will change the entire meaning of the word. For example, lemashal, we have the word aleph for the letter aleph. This is the actual Hebrew letter aleph, the first letter of the alphabet, of course. And it is spelled aleph, lamed, final, fe. And as you can see, the vowel sounds is a long a, and the segol, which is a short e to make aleph. And down below it, we have elef. We have a double segol. So if you were to say aleph instead of elef, you would be saying the actual letter instead of 1,000. So please keep this in mind and be careful and pay attention to the vowel symbols. And we also have another example. We have the word Shaul, which is, we know was the king of Israel. And then we have Sheol, Sheol, which is hell. So we have Shaul and Sheol. Again, they are both spelled the same and only one vowel symbol different. So keep that in mind going forward.
What in the world does this have to do with Yah? Everything. The name of Yah and all names in Hebrew have meaning. In order for a word to have meaning, it must be grammatically correct. And a lot of these names, such as Yahowah, Yahuwah, Yahowah, and so forth, they violate the rules of Hebrew grammar. And therefore, they are not complete words and they have no meaning. How much more the name of Yah, who out of ignorance, you all continue to bastardize the name of Yah. And I'm not sure why people tend to think that Hebrew words are exempt from grammar, such as lahashawana kadash, tawada, shalawam, agaba. They're not words. They have multiple grammatical errors, and they have no meaning. So I'm sure I ruffled some of your feathers, but we are here to be able to help you get out of ignorance so that you can properly speak the Hebrew language and have knowledge of what you're speaking, especially the name of Yah. What is the Tetragrammaton? We'll take a look at two different definitions from different dictionaries. Our first definition is from Merriam-Webster. It means the 4 Hebrew letters, usually transliterated as Yod, He, Wav, He, that form a biblical proper name of Elohim. From dictionary.com, we have the Hebrew word for Elohim, consisting of the 4 letters Yod, He, Vav, and He. transliterated consonantly, usually as Yod He Wav He, now pronounced as Adonai or Elohim, in substitution for the original pronunciation forbidden since the 2nd or 3rd century BC. So take note that I have here highlighted in red the words four letters, Yod He Vav He, and consonants. So it is very important to keep in mind, once again, that the Tetragrammaton must contain 4 consonants, Yod, He, Vav, He. We'll show you this very soon, but a lot of these names that you all are calling on violates the rule of the Tetragrammaton because they have grammatical error. They are no longer containing what you think is 4 consonants. The scribes have written them wrong. So here I have an image of the Masoretes. We're going to take a quick step back into history. The Masoretes were Jewish scholars between the 5th and 10th century, and they're most well known for their invention of the Nikot system. And the purpose of the Nikot system was to preserve the pronunciation of the Hebrew language. So I have here on the right side what Hebrew would look like without the Nikot, without vowel symbols. Nikodots are vowel symbols. And I have here some images of what Hebrew looks like with the Nikodots or the vowel symbols that have been added, specifically on the name of Yod He Wav He. So we will take a look at how these Masorite scribes have written the name of Yod He Wav He. So I will show you this in just a minute, some historical background, but what the Masoretes did was take the name Adonai. Adonai comes from the word Adon, which means master. Today, as well as back then, Jews felt that the name of Yah was too holy to say, so they called and still call on the name of Adonai, of Hashem and Elohim, instead of saying Yod He Wav He, instead of saying Yah's name. And what they did was take the vowel symbols or the vowels of Adonai and put it on the name of Yod He Wav He, coming up with the pronunciation of Yahowah, or what some of you say, Yahowah. So just by hearing this alone, seeing that they have placed vowel symbols of another word on top of a different word, you can clearly see that it's a fake word. It doesn't mean anything. It has no meaning because you're basically concocting a new word based off of the vowels of a different word. Let's take a look at Pugio Fide from Raimundus Martini in 1270. So we'll take a look at what it says in the English transliteration on page 884. It says the pronunciation Yahowah and Yahweh by combining the vowel signs of Adonai and Elohim with 4 consonants of the Tetragrammaton. The pronunciation Yahowah and Yahweh were formed. Skipping down, the first recorded use of this form dates from 13th century.
We can see from the Pugio Fide by Mr. Martini that this word in front of you is just a hodgepodge of foolishness, really, by the scribes taking into their own hands the word of Yah to fool people purposefully. And we have ignorantly taken up this cause and we continue to run with it. And unfortunately, our people seem to want to remain in ignorance, but we're going to help, again, y'all get some understanding today because the scriptures tell us in all of our getting for us to get understanding. And so please, you guys, if you're calling on, these names, please do understand that you ain't saying nothing. And we want you to call on the name that has the power. So continue to do your research. You can fact check us, back check us, and whatever kind of check-in you would like to do, we want you to do it. Research is important and you have to study as well as us. So just, a preview of our next video, we're going to be talking about the name of Yahowah, which is insanely popular, unfortunately. And this is wrong because it ends in an ah. And in the beginning of the slides, in the beginning of the presentation, Shamira showed you why any name ending in an ah is incorrect when referencing the name of Yahweh.
So stay tuned for part 2 and 3, and we hope to see you soon. Shalom.